Hello. Today with us, The Road, an extended summary and analysis of Cormac McCarthy's post-apocalyptic masterpiece. The Road, written by American author Cormac McCarthy and published by Alfred A. Knopf on September 26, 2006, is a Pulitzer Prize-winning novel that redefined the post-apocalyptic genre through its stark prose, moral gravity, and devastating emotional power. Dedicated to McCarthy's son John Francis, the novel strips civilization down to its most elemental components: a father, a son, a road, and the fading concept of goodness in a world where everything else has burned away. The narrative is set roughly 10 years after an unnamed cataclysm has destroyed the biosphere of Earth. The exact nature of the event is never specified, whether nuclear war, meteor impact, supervolcano, or something else remains ambiguous, because the cause is less important than the consequence: the total collapse of ecology, society, morality, and meaning. What remains is a landscape of ash, cold, and endless grey. No plants grow. No animals survive. The sun is perpetually obscured by atmospheric debris. Rain falls as grey sludge. Rivers are choked with ash. Cities have been reduced to husks of concrete and twisted steel. Within this setting, the novel follows two unnamed protagonists, referred to only as the man and the boy, as they travel south along an interstate highway toward the coast, hoping to find warmer weather and, perhaps, other good guys who have not surrendered to cannibalism and violence. Narrative structure and style. McCarthy's stylistic choices are inseparable from the novel's thematic impact. He abandons traditional punctuation conventions. There are no quotation marks to denote dialogue, which blurs the boundary between speech, thought, and narration, creating a sense of claustrophobia and immediacy. Sentences are often fragments. Paragraphs are short and spaced out like poetry. The language is biblical in its cadence, full of archaic diction and polysynthetic constructions, and he walked out in the grey light and stood and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. This style mirrors the world itself, broken, elemental, stripped of excess. The third-person narration stays close to the man's consciousness, but occasionally pulls back into a kind of detached, mythic voice that comments on the end of things. The result is a text that reads like a parable, a prophecy, and a lament simultaneously. 2. Plot summary: The Journey South. The novel opens in medias res. The man and boy are already on the road, having been traveling for years. They sleep in the woods, in cars, in abandoned buildings. They wear layers of scavenged clothes and plastic tarps against the perpetual cold. They push a shopping cart that contains their entire world: a few cans of food, a pistol with 2 bullets, a map, blankets, and a lamp. The man suffers from a persistent, bloody cough that worsens throughout the novel, indicating tuberculosis or another respiratory illness caused by inhaling ash. He knows he is dying. His only purpose is to get the boy to safety and to preserve the boy's humanity before he dies. The first major section of the novel establishes their daily routine of survival. They scavenge for food in ruined houses. They avoid other people because most survivors have become bad guys, road agents, and cannibals who hunt other humans for meat. The man has taught the boy that they are the good guys and that they are carrying the fire. This phrase becomes the moral center of the novel. Carrying the fire means maintaining compassion, refusing to eat people, helping others when possible, and not giving in to despair. It is an invented ethic for a world where all previous ethical systems have collapsed. Their journey is marked by encounters that test this ethic. Early on, they discover a group of captives locked in a basement by cannibals, naked and missing limbs, being kept alive to be eaten gradually. The man and boy flee before they are detected. Later, they find a house where a newborn baby is being roasted on a spit. The man shields the boy from seeing it, but the image underscores the total inversion of natural order. The most vulnerable have become food. A rare moment of relief occurs when they discover an intact underground bunker built by survivalists before the Cataclysm. It contains cases of canned food, bottled water, cots, and a chemical toilet. For several days, they eat, bathe, and rest. The boy experiences joy for the first time. He plays with a toy truck. The man shaves and cuts the boy's hair. They allow themselves to pretend, briefly, that the world has not ended. But the man knows they cannot stay. The bunker will eventually be found by others. To remain is to be trapped. So they take what they can carry and return to the road, leaving most of the supplies behind. This episode illustrates one of the novel's central tensions: any attempt to stop, to build, to rest, is punished by the world. Movement is survival, but movement also means endless exposure. 3. Character analysis. The man. The man is never named, which makes him an archetype: the father, the protector, the last adult. Flashbacks reveal fragments of his life before the apocalypse. He was married. His wife gave birth to the boy a few years after the Cataclysm. She eventually lost hope, arguing that suicide was preferable to being raped and eaten, and that prolonging the boy's life only extended his suffering. One night, she walked into the woods with a shard of obsidian to kill herself. The man begged her to stay. She refused, calling him a survivalist and saying, "You can protect him." Her death is the founding trauma of the novel. The man's entire identity becomes opposition to her despair. If she chose death, he will choose life. If she said the boy should die quickly, he will keep the boy alive as long as possible. This makes him both heroic and terrifying. His love is absolute, but it hardens into ruthlessness. When a man tries to steal their cart, the father forces him to strip naked at gunpoint and leaves him to die of exposure. The boy begs him to show mercy. The father refuses. Later, they see the thief dead in the road. The boy is traumatized. The father believes he did what was necessary. This conflict, pragmatic violence versus radical empathy, recurs throughout the text. The man is also a custodian of memory. He remembers the world before: trout in streams, flowers, birds, the sound of his wife's voice. He tries to describe these things to the boy, who cannot comprehend them. For the boy, the destroyed world is the only world. The man's memories are therefore both a gift and a burden. They are proof that beauty existed, but they also make the present more unbearable. As his cough worsens, the man becomes increasingly obsessed with the pistol. It has 2 bullets. One is for the boy, if capture by cannibals becomes inevitable. The fact that he has considered killing his son to spare him suffering is the darkest expression of his love. 4. Character analysis. The boy. The boy is approximately 9 or 10 years old and was born after the Cataclysm. He has no memory of civilization, animals, or sunlight. His entire moral framework comes from his father's stories and his own innate empathy. He is the moral core of the novel. Where the father sees threats, the boy sees people. He repeatedly asks to help others: the old man named Ely, the thief, a child they glimpse in a town. He insists on leaving food for people they will never see again. He cries when they cannot help. He asks, "Are we still the good guys?" as a constant check on their actions. McCarthy presents him as a kind of messianic figure, not in a supernatural sense, but in a moral one. He is the Word of God in the Father's eyes, meaning that if the boy loses his compassion, then the world is truly over. The boy's faith in carrying the fire is not based on experience, it is chosen. This makes him more courageous than the father, because the father had a world to lose, while the boy has only known ash. The boy's relationship to God is ambiguous. He prays, but his prayers are simple: "Dear people, thank you for all this food." He does not understand theology, but he intuits gratitude and fellowship. After the father dies, the boy encounters a man who has a family. The man invites the boy to join them, saying they too carry the fire. The boy asks if they eat people. The man says no. The boy decides to trust him. The novel ends with the boy asking the man about God, and the man replies that God is in the boy's head. The final paragraph then shifts to a detached, lyrical description of brook trout in mountain streams. On their backs were vermiculate patterns that were maps of the world in its becoming. This ending suggests that meaning and beauty persist, even if only in memory and in the transmission of goodness from one person to another. The major themes. Carrying the fire, the central metaphor for ethics in a post-ethical world. The fire is not literal, it is hope, compassion, storytelling, and the refusal to become a monster. The father and boy debate what it means to carry the fire, and the boy ultimately becomes its bearer. Fatherhood and legacy. The novel is a meditation on what a parent owes a child when there is no future. The father cannot give the boy safety, education, or a society. He can only give him a moral code and stories of the old world. Memory versus forgetting. The man is tormented by memory. The boy is free from it. McCarthy asks whether remembering beauty makes suffering worse, or whether forgetting beauty makes survival meaningless. The end of nature, the landscape, is the third character in the novel. The death of animals, plants, and weather patterns is rendered in excruciating detail. The novel functions as a warning about ecological collapse. Faith and doubt, biblical language permeates the text. The man calls the boy God's own fire drake. Yet there is no evidence of divine intervention. Faith here is redefined as the choice to act as if goodness matters, even when the universe is indifferent. 6. Symbolism and motifs. The road symbolizes both journey and fate. It is the only structure left from the old world, but it leads nowhere. It connects and isolates. The pistol represents the father's love and his despair. It is protection and the possibility of mercy killing. Cans of food, artifacts of a dead civilization. They are both life and reminders that no more will ever be made. Ash covers everything. It is the cremated remains of the biosphere, forests, animals, books, people. It makes the world uniform and dead. Dreams. The man dreams of creatures and color, which he fears because they lure him away from vigilance. He tells the boy, when your dreams are of some world that never was or some world that never will be and you are happy again, then you will have given up. 7. Critical reception and legacy. The Road won the 2007 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction and the James Tate Black Memorial Prize. It was selected for Oprah's Book Club, which brought McCarthy a wider audience. Critics praised its linguistic power and moral seriousness. Some argued that its bleakness was excessive, while others saw it as a necessary corrective to sentimental post-apocalyptic fiction. The novel was adapted into a 2009 film directed by John Hillcoat, starring Viggo Mortensen as the man and Cody Smith-McPhee as the boy. The film was lauded for its fidelity to the book's tone. In the 20 years since publication, The Road has become a touchstone in climate fiction and post-apocalyptic literature. It is taught in universities as an example of minimalism, environmental literature, and 21st-century American myth-making. Its influence can be seen in works like Station 11, The Last of Us, and A Quiet Place. 8. Conclusion: Why the Road Endures. The road endures because it asks a question with no easy answer. What remains of humanity when everything human has been taken away? McCarthy's answer is not optimistic, but it is not nihilistic either. The world can end. Civilization can burn. But as long as one person chooses to carry the fire and pass it to another, something of the human project survives. The novel's final image of trout with maps of the world in its becoming suggests that patterns of beauty and order are deeper than any single catastrophe. The road ends, but the fire does not. In 350 pages, McCarthy created a parable for the Anthropocene, a warning, a eulogy, and a fragile prayer for the future.